Hello everyone, my name is Deonzo Cole and this is my week 1 video presentation of our project regarding networking, geolocation, and remote API for our Advanced Visual Frameworks class 2015 November. For my presentation for our weather app, we have to go kind of start out with getting our launch time, telling a story of where we launched the app. We check to see if the user's online. We get the geo data, and then we get the data from the API, and then populate everything into our UI. And as you can see here, we're going down. We have our check to see if the user's online. If they are, we get their geolocation and we export it from there, and we pull the required page, and that's we can pull it. If not, we alert them that there is no network connection, and please check your settings. And in our geo page, we see we start out with our function, but then we go in and we export it out so that we can pull it over to our apps page and go from there. But in our function, you see, if it's an Android phone, we ask for the purpose of that. We need our location to get it, and we have to hard code in latitude and longitude so that the device would be able to get the location where we're at, and then also require our API page. And then if it's not an Android, then we get the geolocation from there, from the function geolocation, and we pull in the latitude and the longitude and require it. And one thing we have to do is make sure that we pass our latitude and longitude into our API page through when we export it, so that we can use these variables in our API page, and where we create the whole kit and caboodle of everything from our Weather Underground API that we pull in. And we know we have to get our conditions. For me, I chose to do our conditions and pull the satellite information. As you can see, using the lat along here, we pass it into the function up here for the lat and the longitude. And also we want the satellite location, well, the API to use the latitude and longitude to go and get the information there once it's found the geolocation from the device. And we have to create an HTTP client, which would then go in and connection and pull all our information that we need to have down. And we make sure that we parse our information into a JSON file, which I call the API data. And the data that I wanted to get was the city, the temperature, the visibility, the weather, a satellite image, a icon image, the observation time for updates, and of course we had to use the Weather Underground logo also. And that's when we require our UI page that we want us to populate into there, and we put all of we pass again our API info, which is all of this right here, into our UI page so that we can use all these different variables and everything. One thing we had to make sure that we do is make sure that we open up the data and we get it. And where we're getting it from, we're getting it from our URL, which is our Weather Underground API. And we want to send that data out so that we can use it. And of course, we have to export it, which went back to our geolocation. And in the UI, when we build our UI page, we pass and we catch our info from our API into the function, so that way we can use all the different variables in here when we build our UI page. And coming in, I created a window. I created a variable label set scope to be able to use for all the labels that we wanted to do. So of course, for my city label, I have API info, the city, set the set there, so I don't have to go in and type the color in the top each and every time. But I gave it a top for that particular label, and so on and so forth. Created an image view for my the icon for my API. Also gave it a label C, put back in the label set, and gave it the text that I wanted to be in, which is from our weather from the API. And the same thing, another thing for our label, the temperature label, I put that in as a text for that. So the label set came in handy when we're trying to do a lot of setting up things and don't have to type it over and over and over again. We can just pass it right into this function and use these properties to set it up to where we want it to be at. And I'll go through and I'll show you how it's deployed through it all. And on my iPad simulator, you can see we have the name, the city, our icon here, the weather, what's going on, our temperature in degrees, the visibility, our satellite view, and the observation time that it was last updated, and our weather underground icon down here. So we give respects to them or for letting us use their API, and we're not getting paid for it. And on my Android device, what I did, I used my own Android device that I had laying around the house to use. As you can see, it's pretty much the same, except one thing that I had to realize is that it had to be percentages, because an iPad is definitely larger than a regular phone, and being that we're developing for our phones here, percentages played a lot, because we couldn't set variables as far as where we wanted to be at pixel wise on the iPad. So you can see where I said for the icon view, I set it 10% to the left, so that way it would equal over to being 10% to the left on the phone as well, and along with the weather label 10% to the left, so it kind of matches up and equal. And same thing when it came down to the temperature, I set a right of 10% and a font size of 60%, because if I set a hard code font size, it's going to come up too big on the phone. So we wanted to scale down and equal to the actual size of the device that it's on, so we wouldn't have any problems. And you can see the same thing where the label for our visibility, I set to 10%, so it can equal up and match. So that way, it's scaling to the right proportions to the device that it's on. So that worked out pretty well. And coming up with that was one of the little problems I ran into, to make sure that both devices look the same. But of course, it's going to be spread out on the iPad versus an actual handheld phone because of the screen size and resolution and everything. Thanks so much. Hope you guys enjoyed it.